Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah walhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. Dear respected viewers all at home, alhamdulillah, we've come for a very special episode brought to you by TV1 today, inshallah, where we will be discussing a very important topic. Or rather, I should ask, how important is it for all of us Muslims? This topic, inshallah, as you may have already been following, is going to be on the discussion of Jesus, a prophet of Islam. Now, I'm sure everyone at home has heard of this topic, and perhaps during different periods of the year have heard more about it, or perhaps less about it. But as a Muslim, how important is this topic to us? And inshallah, through today's episode, we hope to find out some more. Today I have two very special guests with me who will be accompanying me on this episode to find out more about this journey that we Muslims make throughout our lives by finding out about this very beautiful story, not only mentioned in the Quran, but throughout our Sunnah, this prophetic tradition of ours. Today, on my right-hand side, I'll start with my right, as Islamic conduct goes. On my right-hand side, I have Ridwan Kareem. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Brother Ridwan Kareem, of course, is a postgrad of Islamic studies and has studied the Islamic history and more of its sciences throughout many years, and alhamdulillah, it'd be lovely to get some insight from him in today's episode. On my left-hand side, I have a guest who requires no introduction, as always, but regardless, I'll introduce him to you as Sheikh Madani. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
How are you doing today, Sheikh?
Alhamdulillah. How about yourself? You okay?
I'm doing good, alhamdulillah. Lovely to have you with us.
But thank you for having me today. I'm really glad to be both of you here today.
Thank you very much. It's an honor, and I'm sure all my viewers will also appreciate it.
It's my pleasure to be with you, young people. We'll enjoy the time, inshallah.
Inshallah,
I
hope so equally.
Inshallah.
Well, as you can see already, we're all full of smiles, and we've got a lovely show ahead of us where we want to discuss some of these intricate questions that may be on your mind throughout the day. Some of the questions that you may have heard in the office, maybe on your way to work, or maybe in school for our younger brothers and sisters. But what does it mean? Maybe you didn't get a full answer when you asked your parents, or maybe perhaps whilst you were checking online. So inshallah, some of these questions will be explored and answered as beautifully as possible so we can get the best of answers. Before I start, the most important question that I guess have to ask about this program itself is Jesus. It's a very common name that we've heard. We've heard many versions of the Latin name, the so-called Arabic name of it. Who is this person, this intriguing figure that has loomed throughout our history for thousands of years? Who is this individual? And inshallah, let's get right down to it so we can find out perhaps a bit more. Sheikh Madani, I'll start with you.
Yeah.
This name that we always hear, Jesus. I'm sure my viewers have heard the variation of Isa, Jesus, and some other versions that people say in their own language.
Messiah and other name, and so many others would come.
Exactly.
Well.
I'm sure you can contribute to the long list itself.
Inshallah.
Who is this person?
Jesus, that's in English language, can be origin of Latin or any other language, because the language always changes.
Yes.
This linguistics things, we're not going to discuss about that. But Jesus, in Arabic language, is Isa, but that's not originally Arabic. Is in Arabic we say A'jami. A'jami is non-Arabic words being used in Arabic language.
Okay, so like Musa.
Some of the many of the Ibrahim, Ismail, Ishaq became Isaac, for example. Yes. Ibrahim became Abraham, for example.
Okay.
And so on. But what is Isa in Quran, I would say, rather than saying in Arabic, because that's the Quran being used, Isa, that is in English, when the Latin we're using Jesus.
Okay.
That's Isa and Jesus is the similar thing. For example, we have Yahya.
Yes.
In Quran it's saying Yahya. But in English, we don't have any Yahya. We have John, for example.
Yes. Yes.
It's like that. For example, we have Yusuf in Quran. And this Quranic word saying Yusuf, but we don't have any Yusuf in English. What do we have? We have Joseph, for example. We have Jacob, for example. It's not Yaqub.
Yes.
There's a bit of, when the language changes, a bit of changes happen. That's why the Isa is in Arabic and Jesus in English used. That's what we are doing now.
So I guess the main question to my viewers and to myself as well, as Muslims, can we say Jesus? Can we say Isa? What can we say?
That we should be saying Isa, the Quranic term. But
so to follow the Quranic
follow the Quranic term. But to explain that, we can say Jesus, no problem. So keep saying Isa and Isa and Isa, and the whole day people are not going to understand. What about Isa about?
Yes.
For example, sometime we should be saying Allah, Allah, Allah.
Yes.
But if the people don't understand, you can say Allah, the God Almighty.
Yes.
For the explanation, that would be allowed. But Allah is Allah, you cannot translate it. Similarly, Isa is the real name in Quran, but you can say Jesus to translate for people, the people understand. Oh, talking about then Jesus, son of Mary. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Fascinating.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
So that makes a lot more sense, alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
And I'm sure all my viewers will appreciate that as well. Okay, Ridwan, I'll turn to you. Okay, so we know the name now, but who is this man itself? And as a Muslim, I guess from a traditional Islamic perspective, I know the importance, but for my respected viewers at home, how important is he to Muslims? But more of a beginning question is, who is he?
Okay, this is a very, very good question. Well, first of all, as we all know, Isa alayhi salam, or Jesus, whatever name we use, was a prophet of Allah. Now, a lot of the times we're taught that there were like 25 prophets or so on, but actually there were thousands, hundreds of thousands. We don't even know how many prophets there were. What is distinct about Jesus or Isa alayhi salam? What's very distinct about him? And I suppose he shares it in a way as well with Adam alayhi salam as well, in a way, is that Isa alayhi salam did not have a father. Okay.
Yes.
So that's why that's how we know in the Quran how he's described. And Adam alayhi salam, as we know, did not have a father or a mother. Okay. And so this comes back to, and your question was, why is Isa alayhi salam so important? That's one of the reasons a lot of people would say. The first thing is it was a sign from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that he was not born from naturally how old, like even our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had a mother and a father, whereas Isa alayhi salam just had a mother.
Okay.
Also, why he's so important, and I think it's really obvious as well, is the fact that he's such a pivotal figure in Christianity. In Christianity, they say he's the Son of God. Depending on, obviously, there's different churches, the Trinitarian, Unitarian, and so on. There's so many differences. But as a whole, the way we're taught is that he was the Son of God in terms of Christianity. And of course, there are differences when we talk about Islam and why. There are certain differences when we talk about.
Okay, fair enough. Well, that's a good leading question. Yeah. I guess that's a very.
But to add a little bit with what Ridwan Karim said, Jesus, Isa alayhi salam, is one of the prophet of Islam.
Yes.
And to add something is that no Muslim will be a true Muslim unless until this Muslim believing in Jesus.
So why do you say this? Me as a Muslim,
but why I'm saying it because our iman is amantu billahi wa malaikatihi wa kutubihi wa rusulihi. I believe in Allah, His angels, His books, and all of His messengers, including Jesus. So Jesus, Moses, Noah, Nuh alayhi salam, Adam, we must believe in Jesus. If somebody says, I believe in Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I believe in from Adam to everyone except Jesus, this person is not going to be Muslim. I mean, that's very, very important to understand that no Muslim is a true Muslim, 100% Muslim, unless until she believes in Jesus. He was the one of the famous messenger of God, Allah Ta'ala, and he was born as a miracle from Allah Ta'ala without any male intervention. That's we have to have iman on that. That's our, the basic faith. We must believe in Jesus. Even Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, if somebody believing in Jesus, then believing in him, in addition to that, this person will be getting double reward from God Almighty, Allah Ta'ala. Wow. That's very important. That's why we cannot be Muslim unless until we believe in Jesus.
Okay, so I mean, that's a lot of information that we've heard. So let's break it down a bit further. I think both of us, all of us we can do that. So Ridwan, you made a very important point, and Sheikh Madani added to it. You said he was born without a father. And I mean, all of us, alhamdulillah, we have the luxury of parents, and both parents. But what do we mean by not having a father? Did he not actually have a physical father? Are we talking, was he adopted? What do we mean by this?
It's a very good question. So, where do we start? We start with Maryam alayhi salam. And it's in the Quran, it's very clear. And how the story goes. Very clearly. That Maryam alayhi salam was, well, I mean, I suppose we should start with Zakaria initially in the beginning. And how he wanted to have
Now let's start a bit earlier.
Okay. So let's go even earlier.
How does it go? You know, the story is like this.
Yes.
There's one of the pious men, his name was Imran.
Yeah.
And according to his name, the surah will name Al Imran, family of Imran.
Yeah.
And his wife name was Hannah.
Okay.
Hannah bint Fakhuz, her name.
Okay.
Then Imran and Hannah, husband and wife. They made intention, they made a dua to Allah, made a promise to Allah that, oh Allah, give us a son. If you give us a son, we'll be devoting our son to the service of temple, Baytul Muqaddas.
Okay.
Baytul Muqaddas, this our son is not going to be having...
Wait, Sheikh, what do you mean by Baytul Muqaddas? Just so that we can add more clarification.
Baytul Maqdis is what we say Al-Bayt al-Muqaddas or Baytul Maqdis.
Yes.
Wal Masjid al-Aqsa, the
Yes.
farthest masjid.
Yes.
And this masjid was built by Sulaiman alayhi salam.
Okay, thank you.
And this, you know, the holy place for, you know, the Judaism, for Christianity, for Muslim, for everyone.
Okay.
Because this place is the place of so many prophets.
Yes.
And then Hannah and Imran, both of them said, give us a son. We want a son, but the son not going to serve us. There are many parents who want their son who will be serving them, giving them money, look after. No. We'll give this son to the masjid, to the house of Allah, dedicated, devoted for that. Is a kind of eternal charity, sadaqah jariyah for us for masjid, serving the cause of Allah.
Okay.
Then what happened? In Allah Ta'ala describing all the story in Surah Al Imran, in chapter number 3, is starting from the verse number 35. إِذْ قَالَتِ امْرَأَةُ عِمْرَانَ رَبِّ إِنِّي نَذَرْتُ لَكَ مَا فِي بَطْنِي مُحَرَّرًا فَتَقَبَّلْ مِنِّي إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ. Remember, when Imran's wife said, oh Allah, whatever in my womb, please accept it from us, and that will be dedicated for you. Muharraran. Fataqabbal minni innaka antas sami'ul alim. Please accept from me. Falamma wada'atha, when she has given birth, she was crying, she was upset. قالت رب إني وضعتها أنثى. Oh Allah, it's a girl, it's not a boy. I wanted a boy. You haven't given me a boy, it's a girl. Wallahu a'lamu bima wada'at. Allah knew that before this, you know, the child coming. Allah knew that. Allah knows everything.
Yes.
Wallahu a'lamu bima wada'at wa laysa zakaru kal unsa. Many boys is not going to be similar to this girl. This girl would be much better than the many boys. Wa inni sammaytuha Maryam, and I named her as Maryam. Maryam, this word meaning Amatullah, the slave, you know, the is the female slave of Allah. This Maryam means that as well.
But I guess just to add on that, Sheikh, as well, just for clarification, because you brought in Maryam now as a character in the story. So
Maryam in English is Mary.
Okay, so there is
that's what we said before. Jesus, son of Mary. That means Isa ibn Maryam, translated in English, Jesus, son of Mary.
Okay, same with, we know with Maryam, she was the son of Imran because...
And the daughter of
the daughter rather.
Imran,
Yes, because you've got, I mean, you're clearly listening to me as well. So we know like in Surah Tahrim, he said, وَمَرْيَمَ ابْنَةَ عِمْرَانَ الَّتِي... So
أَحْصَنَتْ فَرْجَهَا وَنَفَخْنَا فِيهِ مِنْ رُوحِنَا.
So we know the connection. Now we're building the family tree. So from Zakaria to Imran, and then now we've gone to Maryam and to Isa now you mentioned.
وَإِنِّي سَمَّيْتُهَا مَرْيَعَمَ وَإِنِّي أُعِيذُهَا بِكَ وَذُرِّيَّتَهَا مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ. Then I ask you, refuse your protection that my girl Maryam, shaitan wouldn't touch her.
Okay.
And if anybody would born from Maryam, shaitan wouldn't touch that child as well.
Yes.
That's why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam confirming that when every single human being been born, shaitan, iblis coming and touching. That's why children are crying where the birth time. But exception is two. Maryam wa ibnuha. Maryam and Maryam's son. These two, shaitan couldn't be able to come next to them because of this dua.
Yes.
Maryam's mother, Hannah, she made this dua.
Okay.
Then Allah is continuing, the Quran continues, فَتَقَبَّلَهَا رَبُّهَا بِقَبُولٍ حَسَنٍ وَأَنْبَتَهَا نَبَاتًا حَسَنًا وَكَفَّلَهَا زَكَرِيَّا. Allah Ta'ala accepted this daughter from both of them. How did Allah accept it? In a way, there was no tradition that Baytul Muqaddas, you know, the temple would accept any kind of girl to be the servant. exceptionally, Zakaria alayhi salam was the chief custodian of Baytul Muqaddas at the time.
Okay.
And Zakaria alayhi salam was the uncle of Maryam.
Yes.
And then Zakaria alayhi salam made a decision. We do not take any girl by exceptionally, because we know the family, we know their intention. Thus we'll be accepting Maryam to be the, the serving the Baytul Muqaddas as well.
Fantastic point. Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. I think we've got a good family tree image now, and that's allowing us to build on the story itself and coming to Jesus. I guess coming back to Ridwan now. So now we have more of a family tree which you were beginning to build for us. So we've got Zakaria, we've got Imran, we've got Maryam now. Can you give us more of a background of Maryam? Is she important to Muslims as well? And I guess what's the significance? How do we know of Maryam? Is it in the Quran, or tell us more?
Okay, so interestingly enough, Maryam alayhi salam is one of, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his own mother does not have a chapter named after her, whereas Maryam alayhi salam has an entire chapter named after her name, Surah Maryam, for example.
Yes.
And it's
chapter number 19.
Chapter number 19.
Yes.
Interestingly enough, we have the huruf al-muqatta in the Quran.
Yeah.
The verse kaf ha ya ain sad is the longest 5-letter combination, which is quite interesting. No one really knows clearly what they mean, but that's just something on a side note. So Maryam alayhi salam. So Ustad brought it up to when Zakaria alayhi salam, he was in charge of the Bayt al-Muqaddas, and Maryam alayhi salam, she was in the masjid. She had her own room, her own special room, and then one day an angel came to her, a ruh, while she was in her own special room. And she got frightened. She got very worried. She was very scared. She was very chaste, and so she was worried, and she said she fears Allah. And she said, who are you? And the angel said, do not worry. I've come to you with glad tidings. And he said, I've come to you with the glad tidings of a son. And she said, how can I have a son? No man has touched me. How can I have a son?
She's a very religiously oriented woman. She's
and she said A'udhu Billah as well. She was specific because she thought this was a man. And he said, do not worry, I'm from Allah. And she said, how? And the angel said, this is just from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So and then it occurred. Maryam alayhi salam gave birth to Isa alayhi salam. And she was very worried because obviously her
nervous.
Yes, of course, because here she is being dedicated to the masjid, and now she comes with a son.
And she has a child.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
I guess even in modern times, this would be something of
crazy,
a big,
absolutely.
Discussion and, hoo-ha.
And this is exactly what it was. And the people were shocked. They said, your mother wasn't, unchaste. Your father was a religious man. What is this? And the people started accusing her, saying, what is this? And she got even more worried. She got even more scared. And so she went away, and then there's an incident where she was sitting under a tree, and she's weeping, and to such an extent that she wanted to die.
So why was she crying?
The pain of childbirth and the situation she was in, she wanted to die. Literally, she said that she wanted to die. And the
situation of blaming her, she's going to get blamed from people as well.
And I guess this is even, like I mentioned before, it's a recurring theme, even in modern society today. Some people, because of the pressure of it. So we can only imagine at that time.
And based on her family as well. And based on her family, as we were saying, a pious family, a well-known family, and here she is bringing a child. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala obviously provided for her, and they said, and Allah says how you should just knock on the tree or shake on the tree, and immediately dates would fall.
Do we know this, and specifically is in the Quran?
It's exactly in the Quran how it says.
So fakuli
washrabi wa qarri ayna. So be cool in your eyes. So Allah provided for her in this specific occasion to cool her eyes, as it were, in the specific.
Alhamdulillah, we have the luxury of dates here today.
I'll come to that with the specific things as well. What happened, what Ridwan was mentioning, that's interesting. But before that, Allah has shown miracle from Maryam alayhi salam as well. And what Surah Al Imran is continuing, كُلَّمَا دَخَلَ عَلَيْهَا زَكَرِيَّا الْمِحْرَابُ وَجَدَ عِنْدَهَا رِزْقًا. Whenever Zakaria entering Maryam's room, it was the tradition was, the question before that, how Zakaria became her, the kafil, custodian, supervisor. How was that? Then what happened? All the custodian of Baytul Muqaddas, every single one of them, they wanted to take care of Maryam. They're fighting. I want to take her. I want to take her. I want to take her.
Because of her religiosity?
Because of her family status and the father and mother, and the way it has been done, and that was known to everybody. They made a promise to Allah. That's why they thought that this girl will be really, really something special.
Yes.
That's why then finally they decided, what they used to do at that time, there is no printing press.
Yes.
That's why they're writing Tawrat by their own pens.
Yes.
You know, the wooden pens.
Yes.
Then finally Zakaria alayhi salam announced that, oh, we have the river and the tide of the water going. Every single one of us will be throwing our pens.
Yes.
And whose pen will remain in the tide, not going away, that person will be taking responsibility of Maryam.
Okay.
That's Allah Ta'ala telling us, ذَلِكَ مِنْ أَنْبَاءِ الْغَيْبِ نُوحِيهِ إِلَيْكَ وَمَا كُنْتَ لَدَيْهِمْ إِذْ يُلْقُونَ أَقْلَامَهُمْ أَيُّهُمْ يَكْفُلُ مَرْيَمْ وَمَا كُنْتَ لَدَيْهِمْ إِذْ يَخْتَصِمُونَ. O Prophet, you are not present at that time. They are fighting, and you know that everybody want to take the responsibility of Maryam, and you know been there when they're throwing their pens in the ocean, in the river. وَمَا كُنْتَ لَدَيْهِمْ إِذْ يَخْتَصِمُونَ. And you know been with them when they are arguing with one another. Then finally what happened? Zakaria alayhi salam pen remaining is not going. All other pens going away.
So he's one.
Then he is the winner.
Yes.
He won it. Then everybody said, okay, then we give up. Zakaria will be responsible. Then only Zakaria alayhi salam was allowed to go to Maryam, and whenever he is going, she's eating, and only food can be given by him.
Wow.
And he didn't give the food. Even the fruit,
Yes.
for example, if you want cherry or you know something different in the winter, you're not going to find
season.
it.
Yeah.
A specific season, a specific fruit, isn't it?
Yes.
But Maryam eating a fruit that's not available in the market.
There's no supermarket.
No supermarket that time.
So clearly they were not
forget about the even no market.
Yeah.
The small market.
Yeah.
No, forget about super.
Yeah.
Then what happened? Then he was surprising. Then he's saying, "Anna laki hadha." How did you get it from? قالت هو من عند الله إن الله يرزق من يشاء بغير حساب. It's from Allah. Allah gives him and I eat, I enjoy it. It is from Allah.
It's a risk from, yes.
And then Zachariah's mind worked so fast. If Allah can give Maryam fruits and not its season, then why not Allah can give me a son?
Wow.
I don't have anything. I understand that my wife cannot give birth and I'm very old. Immediately he fall in sajda. هُنَالِكَ دَعَى زَكَرِيَّا رَبَّهُ. Immediately Zakaria went to the sajda and saying, رَبِّ هَبْ لِي مِن لَدُنْكَ ذُرِّيَّةً طَيِّبَةً إِنَّكَ سَمِيعُ الدُّعَاء. Oh Allah, give me righteous, the children, and you listen to people's dua. Then immediately his dua was accepted. فَنَادَتْهُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ وَهُوَ قَائِمٌ يُصَلِّي فِي الْمِحْرَابِ أَنَّ اللَّهَ يُبَشِّرُكَ بِيَحْيَى. Then angel came immediately saying, Allah is giving the glad tidings of Yahya. Means Allah is giving the name. There's the only one name, Allah named it.
There's no other...
no other prophet, Allah named it immediately. لَمْ نَجْعَلْ لَهُ مِنْ قَبْلُ سَمِيًّا. In Surah Maryam, Allah saying that. Thus, Allah named the child Yahya. You know what happened to my life?
Yes.
When my first daughter, Rafa, she was born now in Chittagong.
Yes.
And my wife was a bit upset. I was very happy, believe me. I tell you honestly.
Yeah.
Then why it was not a son, I wanted a son. I said, okay, don't worry, inshallah, you and me, Allah is the witness. Our next child will be a son. I'm naming him today Yahya.
So you prayed like Zakaria?
I did immediately in the hospital. That's the year 2000. It was 3rd of October. I remember immediately Allah, our next child give us a son and I'll name him Yahya.
Okay.
Then Yahya was born in the 2004, 1st of April here in the Royal London Hospital, alhamdulillah.
Okay.
Alhamdulillah, Allah accepted my dua.
Alhamdulillah. This is the power of dua, mashallah.
Subhanallah. Then, there is this story goes to Yahya as well. Yahya is John in other traditions. Then Yahya was born.
That's an interesting part of the story, Sheikh, and I guess we'll add to that as well as soon as we get the chance. But I guess just on the touch of Maryam Ridwan, before I left you, you were mentioning that she was crying and she was weeping. I guess as a summary, why was she crying and what was she weeping? And what was the development from this incident? We mentioned dates and all these things. So in a little summary, can you just add?
Yeah, so obviously the people were accusing her of being unchaste and so on, and so she was very, very worried. And then she went away and she was crying and of the pain of childbirth and the pain. and of the shame as well, like because of they were accusing her. And again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provided her. Similarly, when Zachariah was surprised and he came into her, to her dwelling place and saw that Allah has provided with food, again Allah provided her with food again. So kuli washrabi wa qarri aina, your food and your drink, and Allah provided that for her exactly. And it goes on to say that she was worried and she was praying to Allah, like, what should she do? And Allah said that she should just point at Isa alayhi salam.
Okay.
And she was like, how? This is very strange, And then the verse carries on, and then she went back to her people, and then again the people are talking to her. And she points at Isa alayhi salam, and this is where Isa alayhi salam starts to speak, and this is why Isa alayhi salam is important, because he's the prophet who spoke as a child, and there were many more miracles.
That's why Kalimatullah.
Kalimatullah. And this is, so exactly.
Very interesting. Okay, that's a very good point.
What happened then? What Rizwan said to summarize that is Allah is giving this full chapter by the name of Maryam, Surah Maryam, chapter number 19. It's starting with verse number 16 onwards. And if I just quickly summarize what he said, Allah is saying nicely. How did Allah say? وَاذْكُرْ فِي الْكِتَابِ مَرْيَمْ. Remember Mary in the book. إِذْ انْتَبَذَتْ مِنْ أَهْلِهَا مَكَانًا شَرْقِيًّا, when she has taken a place in the eastern side of the Baitul Maqdis, the temple. فَأَرْسَلْنَا إِلَيْهِ فَاتَّخَذَتْ مِنْ دُونِهِمْ حِجَابًا. Then she put a curtain that people wouldn't disturb her when she's worshipping Allah.
This is very important, Sheikh, the development in the story, and I don't want to miss out any of the some may say juicy bits of the story. So I'm going to stop
juicy bit, that's good,
exactly.
That's a
so
good
I'm
wording.
Stop you there so that all my viewers can follow as well. So Ridwan and both Sheikh Madani, thank you very much. We've been contributing and hearing a lot about this story as it develops. We've learned that there's a family chain. It's not that Jesus in the Muslim tradition has just appeared out of nowhere. Rather, there's a family that's been built and generations that have come before and that have also followed, which we want to understand about better. We have learnt about Jesus, or rather the definition in the Quranic terms, Isa, and we've also learnt about Maryam, or in the English, a more Latin term, Mary, and we have also learnt about the various stories that's happened with his mother, this pure woman that was sometimes accused of many ugly things that even happen in our society, unfortunately, today. So, this story being said, we want to find out more about Isa, but before we find out any more, I'm going to have to go on a very short break, but after the break we'll be back to hear more in depth about the life of Isa alayhi salam, and inshallah some of the more intricate questions that's always posed on our minds. So inshallah, don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after the break on this episode where we want to find out more about Jesus, one of the most important prophets of Islam, inshallah. Don't go anywhere. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.